Hey there, this is Mr. Wilford, and I just wanted to go through Chapter 7, Section 1 with you. In Section 1 here, we're talking about ratios and proportions. And basically, when we talk about a ratio, we're talking about comparing two numbers or two things by division. And basically, when we look at a fraction, we're looking at a ratio. And there are all sorts of ratios that are around, different examples, different things. Even like when you're driving in a car, miles per hour, that's a ratio. It's a comparison between your miles and how many miles you're going to get per hour. And here's an example, just writing a ratio of a slope of a line L. And we've talked about slope of lines before, and basically we're taking the difference of the y's divided by difference of the x's, rise over run. And if you plug in the numbers here, you get 2 over 3. That's going to be the ratio. That's the ratio of how much rise 2 compared to 3, how much run that you're doing for that line to get from one point to the next. And here's another example of using ratios. Sometimes you will see it as a comparison like this, where you have 3 to 7 to 3 to 7. And basically, again, you're just looking at the sides of a rectangle, for example. So there are all sorts of different ways, different places that you're going to see ratios. When you are comparing two ratios, you can set it up as a proportion. And a lot of times you'll see it written something like this: A over B is equal to C over D. And we have A and D are called actually the extremes, B and C are the means. And you can write that proportion something like this, which basically just is, two fractions set equal to each other. Now in algebra, when we want to solve something like this, we use our cross products. So what we're doing is we're just multiplying A times D and setting it equal to B times C. So we crisscross like that. So you can see here in these examples, we're just multiplying 5 times 63 and setting it equal to 45 times y, and then just solve for y. Here's another example where there's a little bit more math involved, taking the square root to both sides and solving for x that way. So we have some properties of proportions, and you can see here, again, we're basically using the cross product to solve these kinds of problems. And you could take a look at this property using some numbers as well. Okay, here's just another example using those properties, and again, we're really just looking at finding the proportion and simplifying the fraction here, and looking at the ratio 5 to 2. All right. Again, as you go through some of these problems and in the book, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.